And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is Brianne Baird, who had a near-death experience while on the operating table, which today we're going to learn about. Brianne, thank you for joining me and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Brianne, if you don't mind, let's start on the day that your surgery happened and go from there.
Well, I had a surgery back in 2020. Prior to that, I had lost 3 people already. I had lost my brother-in-law, and then I had lost my sister, and then my mom about three months prior to my surgery. So it was a lot. And what happened was I was being operated on and wasn't aware of anything, of course, because I was asleep. But I believe from what my younger sister told me, they had contacted her to let her know that I had in fact flatlined and my heart had stopped for about 2 minutes on the operating table. I remember my mom being on one side and my sister on the other, but I only saw their faces. I did not see their bodies. It was really bright and I just felt peaceful. I didn't have any pain. I wasn't even aware of what was going on until I should say I was out of my body and I was kind of hovering and I looked down and I saw them working on me. I vividly remember a voice saying, we got her back, we got a pulse. And after that, my sister and my mom had told me, it's not time to come with us yet. So when it's your time, we'll be back. So with all that being said, I had ended up waking up to the paddles being removed from my chest. And my body kind of jumped a little bit. And I remember being back. And when that happened, the nurse had said, you've got to put her back under. We've got to get her up to the ICU immediately. So the next day I woke up in the ICU. And that's all I can remember from that experience.
So you were put under anesthesia and then all of a sudden you just kind of wake up in the middle of the surgery?
Actually, I didn't wake up per se. I just remember my mom and my sister being on each side of me. It was very bright. And then I'm out of my body looking down at what they were doing to me. It was an out of the body experience, kind of.
At that time, did you realize what had happened or did you think you were dreaming or what?
I thought I was dreaming at first, to be honest, because that's never happened to me. So after all is said and done, and I was in the ICU, and my sister who received the call, her name is Haley, she came up to my room and came to visit me, and she had told me what had happened. They had contacted her and told her that I was in fact pronounced for 2 minutes with my heart being stopped. If I hadn't come back after the 3rd shock, I should say, that they were going to pronounce me completely and not work on me anymore. But
did your mom or your sister look any different when you saw them compared to when they transitioned, like any younger?
No, sir. They looked just like I remember before I lost them. The thing I can say about my mom is when she passed, I felt at peace because I was able to actually say goodbye to my mom at the funeral home. And I just felt at peace at that point. And my sister, I'd say I felt a little guilty because unfortunately none of us got to see her before she was cremated. But I was just glad that they were there to guide me, just to let me know that it wasn't my time yet.
When you were there, did you feel any overwhelming sense of love?
I remember that I felt loved, yes. I felt like they were surprised that I was there, but they were very loving, very peaceful. They didn't have any different tone. They were talking to me just like they normally would before they had passed. So it really made me feel comfortable at that point.
Were they talking to you telepathically?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Their mouths were not moving. They were just communicating to me.
Did you ever speak to anybody in the hospital about what you saw on the other side?
I didn't. I just don't, at the time, I didn't feel like anybody would believe me, I should say. There's a lot of skeptics out there. So I didn't want to sound crazy to people. The only one that I did tell was my fiance and, of course, my little sister. But my family ended up finding out, and they're really supportive.
That's great. This happened back in 2020.
Yes,
Since
sir.
then, have you gained more information about what happened?
From like doctors and the hospital, I have not. They're kind of keeping that to themselves. My OBGYN, which performed the surgery, did tell me that I did flatline for a few minutes, and that's all she would tell me.
Were you told why you flatlined?
I was diagnosed after that surgery with bradycardia arrhythmia, which is a heart issue. And they believe that the anesthesia is what mainly led to stopping my heart.
Since your experience, have you been able to process it more and feel like you've learned new things?
I feel like I've learned a lot. I'm actually beginning to feel more comfort in knowing that there are others out there that have indeed done the same experience as me, had NDEs as well. So it's really comforting to know that there are others out there like me.
Have there been any difficulties processing this? And if so, what are they?
I think the most difficult thing for me would be my sister. Like I said, I didn't have closure with my sister, but I'm just glad she was in fact there waiting. And it's almost guilty because I did in fact text her the night before she had passed, and at that time she had already passed. So she never received that text from me.
How did she pass?
Unfortunately, she had some demons that she was fighting, and she had overdosed, I should say. So she passed like that.
Has the memory of this experience faded?
No, sir. No, I remember it just like it was yesterday.
Do you find yourself thinking about it often?
Not as often as I used to. No, I feel more at ease now. Talking to other people about what I've experienced and all that good stuff, I do feel at ease.
How have you changed since the experience?
So since the experience, I've just been more positive. I've been just pushing forward like I'm supposed to. I believe that when it is our time to go, then we'll be welcomed with open arms, and hopefully it's by loved ones, but if not, still welcomed lovingly.
Have you noticed that you have any new abilities that you didn't have prior that would possibly seem like psychic?
Well, I was actually talking to my good friend Danielle about this last night. For the past couple nights, ever since I wrote a note to my sister, just releasing my feelings, telling her about the anger I felt that she had left me, and I had burned that letter. Ever since that experience, I had heard rumbling almost from outside. And when that happened, my fingertips would tingle. And I would see like shadows, I should say, walking by my door in my bedroom from outside. So it's not scary, but it's definitely new. And I welcome it.
You think that's possibly her?
I don't know if it's her or if it's my mom. I do have both their urns sitting in my room. So could be either one of them. It's just a shadow figure that I see, and it will very quickly just pass by. I'll see it out of the corner of my eye. But this new stuff that I've been experiencing with like hearing rumbling noises out of nowhere, and then my fingertips will start tingling. And I'll hear people calling my name, but I don't recognize the voices calling to me. And when I ask my children and my fiance if they called to me, because I'll hear it in the distance, they'll tell me no. So
I wonder if it's possible if you're connecting with other people that are there on the other side.
possible, but like I said, I welcome it. I don't fear death anymore. Prior to this experience, I was really fearful of death. But after seeing and going through my NDE, I am no longer fearful.
What inspires you about your experience?
The inspiration was actually seeing my mom and my sister, knowing that they will be there when I do arrive. And it was bright and it was peaceful. I was just at ease, almost like I was dreaming, I should say.
Would you say it was so bright that you would think it would hurt your eyes, but it didn't?
Yes, sir. Yes. It was very bright.
Have you noticed, or did you notice any sense of time while you were over there?
No, I did not. I did not, like I said, I did not even know what happened until I was out of my body looking down, seeing that they were working on me. There was no time. Very peaceful, very bright. Just felt at ease. I can tell you that the nurses up in the ICU were very surprised that I did, in fact, come back. They said that we thought we lost you for good. So, and I ended up staying in the ICU for 3 days.
Were you intubated?
I was.
Did you ever recognize any of the people that were working on you later after you woke up?
No, I don't remember any of the people besides my OBGYN. She was there, and she's the one that told them to put me back to sleep. That's all I can vividly remember was, I believe she's the one that said put her back under because we've got to get her to the ICU.
If somebody was grieving over the loss of a loved one, what kind of advice would you give them?
If you're grieving over a loved one, just know that they are, in fact, going to be there with you one day and that you will reconnect. Just a matter of time. I can say that my little sister, who was very not open to any of this, did get visited the other night by a lady at her job. And this lady had told her, you're here, or there's somebody else here with you. And she's like, no, ma'am, I'm working alone tonight. The lady had then told her, I'm a medium. She said, there's a lady with blackish hair and a sister figure there with you. And she's a very lonely soul. And that's what I didn't understand, because in fact, I did see my sister when I had my NDE. But fast forward to the other day, she had told my little sister that you two were fighting, and they were at the time that my sister passed. Unfortunately, they were both fighting. And the medium, or the lady, I should say, had told her, just let it go. And my sister, after that, went to her car and took a little break to process what she had just heard. And our big sister song had actually just started playing on the radio. So that actually really helped my little sister a lot.
That's interesting that a medium out of, just some random person came up to her and told her that.
Yep. She was just standing there, and she had said, there's somebody there beside you. And my sister's like, I don't know who it could be because I'm working alone. So
have you or her seen any other signs that perhaps they're around you, like feathers or pennies or birds or anything?
Yes, sir. Butterflies for my sister. A lot of butterflies. Not so much right now in the winter, but during the warmer seasons, we see a lot of butterflies, and I know that's my sister.
What is the significance of butterflies?
My sister actually had a big butterfly tattooed on her thigh, I believe. Yeah. It was on her thigh or her ankle. I can't remember which one, but it was always butterflies for her. She's a very spiritual, fantasy-driven individual. I've actually got a tattoo for her for that fantasy thing that she really believed in. I've actually got a wand on my forearm for my sister that has the day she was born and the day she passed away, and it says Kathy above it.
After watching this podcast, people may want to reach out to you and ask you questions. Are you up for that?
Yeah, I'm up for that. I don't mind. I welcome it. Like I said, I don't mind sharing my experience with anybody.
What's the best way to reach you?
If anybody wants to reach out to me, they can do it on Facebook. They can look me up at Brianne Baird, and I'll pop right up there. Or they can either email me at my my last name, which is Baird1119@gmail.com.
How have you changed spiritually since this experience?
Spiritually, I've awakened a lot. My friend Danielle, she's helped me quite a bit, actually open my eyes to what I'm seeing and comforting me and knowing that I'm not crazy, I should say.
Were you spiritual or religious before this?
No, sir. I was brought up atheist. So my dad's side is all Christians and my mom's are all atheists.
Would you say you're still atheist?
No, sir. I believe there is something more.
All right.
I mean, I've witnessed something more. I've seen my mom and my sister, so.
Well, before we finish up, can you leave us with one last positive message?
Just live every day with positive vibes. Look to the future. Don't look in the past. And just keep pushing forward.
Brianne, thank you for that message, and thank you for being my guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.